world. And Karen, it's one of the courses on which Didier Couche, their star, has never won.
Well, he's been runner-up 3 different times, so he has had success on the course. Yet the fans want to win. Didier Couche says he's also expecting to have performance, get that win. And let's not get it wrong here. The fans are going to be cheering for him more than any other Swiss racer out there. Back in 2009, Roger Federer finally won the French Open, yet he never won the National Sport Award. It was Didier Couche, voted by fans and media, won it again in 2011 after finally getting a gold medal at the World Championships. But they're not quiet. They want him to win on this course today.
If it isn't Didier Couche, the Swiss have a deep team.
This is a really deep team. He's backed up by the Olympic champion Didier Defago coming off a victory in Bormio. He's also got Carlo Janka, Beat Fuchs. So it is a big team. There'll be all kinds of fantastic support from the fans. This is one to watch.
Swiss have to deal with American Bodie Miller. He's won at Wengen twice, and he's back in a big way this season.
Bodie Miller's wearing the red bib this year. That means he's the leader of the downhill standings. Coming into the year, I'm not so sure how many people would have placed him there, but this is a course that suits Bodie Miller. He is such a great all-round athlete, not always in the best of shape, yet this year he's professional, he's racing professionally, and he is together mentally.
It's the longest course on the circuit. You have to be fit, and you'd think that a skier as fit as Eric Gay would have a chance here. Never been better than 18.
Well, when I look at the stats, I keep thinking, come on, I'm missing it. It has to be there. There's got to be a top 10, yet this is a course that it really hasn't treated Eric Gay well. He hasn't quite figured it out. So he's got all the goods. He's a great glider, fantastic technician. It is time to perform now for Eric.
All right, it's the downhill at Wengen. Make no mistake, it's one of the majors.
And the conditions are absolutely perfect for Hannes Reichelt, the 31-year-old from Austria. 5 World Cup victories. You know what? He's making his way onto the downhill scene. He was 3rd at Lake Louise to start the season.
And that was his first downhill podium ever on World Cup. This is a guy that has been known for GS and Super G skills, and now all of a sudden he's branched out. He did win the last downhill training run held on Thursday. Yesterday it was a combined event, which he also raced in. The time in that last training run was 2 minutes, 37 seconds, 37. That's a long downhill. So when you're watching this, look at all the different aspects of this course. The large rolling terrain on relatively flat and moderate terrain on the top, and then 180-degree turns followed by drop-offs, very narrow roads, a tunnel, and by the time they get to the bottom, literally they are physically finished.
And so many fans on the course here at Wengen. A lot of them make their way up by train. It is such a unique area.
That was the Hoonschop jump, and that is the Minch Kante. Minch, a former Swiss racer. Canadian corner right here. Didn't used to be all those nets separating the spectators from the racers, and a lot of Canadians went over that bridge. And this is the Kernan S, named after Bruno Kernan. They come into this section with a lot of speed and try and maintain a little bit of speed coming out this very narrow part of the course.
All of the greats have won here at Wengen. Jean-Claude Keely in 1966. He won every downhill that year. In 75, the great Franz Klammer of Austria won here. Now, Ken Reed did win for Canada at Wengen in 1980, but it's not officially a win on the Lauberhorn.
Well, it must have been a makeup race because they gave the official title to Peter Mueller that year in 1980, but Ken Reed will tell you he won on the course. It's just not counted as an official title. At this point in the course, 2 minutes. This is where the classic downhills end. Kitzbühel's about 2 minutes. Bormio roughly 2 minutes. Valgardena. This is like an 800-meter track. You've raced it, you cross the line, and then they say you have to run another lap around the track. You're exhausted, and it is tough from this point down. Notice sun to shade. It gets dark. This final S, a very crucial section of the course. He'll get very close to the net. He is a technical skier. This is where he hopes to excel, and he needs to excel to be fast. And looking strong and setting up for a pretty fast time here.
Boom, into the finish area. Hannes Reichelt and 30,000 fans, most of them, all of them, cheering for the Swiss today.
Coming out of Canadian corner, you want to take note of what happens here. Look at how close Reichelt comes to the fence. Right here, literally, the shoulder's right up next to the fence. Then you've got to swing your skis out. You're traveling 100 kilometers an hour. Note how those tails go up to the fence. And he's so good technically, treating the exit of the Kernan S almost like a GS gate over the blue dye. We'll just watch this for all the other racers. This is a guide just to see how it's going. 101 kilometers coming in, 75 Ks going out, not so bad, and that is the place to watch today.
Swiss will love this man. 25-year European Cup champion in 2010, and already he and you can hear the noise.
One thing is clear, is Janka cannot hear that noise. You're so extremely focused. This is very critical here, and I always have liked the way he handles this section. Every year he's so calm. It's a course that he's won on. He was the hero a couple of years ago on this track. So close to that net. Manny Osborne Parody was on the podium here a couple of years ago, back in 09, I think it was, and he was right up onto that fence.
Janka had health problems last season, came back strongly, has had a tough start this season, but look, training run, he was third.
He does seem to finally get going on this course. He's only ranked 42nd in downhill this year, which is well back off of his expectation for himself as well. But this course, really the all-round athlete, the guy that is a really good glider on the flats and the flatter portions of the course, extremely fit you have to be to handle this bottom section. Yeah, sitting back a little bit, but made it around that final S.
Now he'll hear it. Janka second now by 17/100ths of a second. So the Swiss do not have the lead. Not yet. Here goes Eric Gay for Canada. Still hasn't hit the podium this season. But we talked about this at the top of the race. You need fitness on the Loverhorn. Gay is fit.
Well, that's a good interval there on the top, and what a fantastic camera angle watching Eric fly off of the jump and getting faster. This is a good sign for Eric. He's really relaxed, and look at the flags waving for him off of Canadian corner there. Eric, notoriously a slow starter. He expected it to be so this year, and this is only the fourth downhill of the season, so he is just now getting into form. Coming off of fourth in Bormio, January should be a good month for him.
Top results here, he's been 18th twice and 19th, but trying to, in one of the majors, get close.
Ooh, that was a big swing of time, all compared to Hannes Reichelt, who's such a great Super G skier, fast in this section in training, and Eric has lost a lot of time in this meadow-like section. Losing more now, and take note of that speed, 144 kilometers an hour. This is the fastest part of the course, and to turn after that, there's a lot of strength needed to maintain your line.
The world downhill champion really rolling here at Wengen. Eric Gay, 30 years of age now, clearly the leader of the Canadian Cowboys, heading for home in one of the most impressive events on the World Cup circuit. Hannes Reichelt has the lead, still does. Eric Gay puts himself into third position.
Well, you could see him nodding there. There was a lot he did right on this track. Lost most of his time on the bottom third of the course. So he's got half of the course figured out. He was fast in training. He'll look forward to coming back next year.
Eric Gay, next one. Beat Foots on his way as our coverage of Wengen continues exclusively on Sports Weekend. Welcome back. How about this is a great story. 8-year-old Gage Ferguson is taking in the race with the man he sponsors, Brad Spence. Brad will run the slalom tomorrow at Wengen. Gage, who has Asperger's syndrome, donated the resources of his piggy bank to be Spence's title sponsor. And talk about a great connection for Alpine Canada. Now, Christoph Innerhofer of Italy takes to the course at Wengen.
You don't win this track on the top, on the flats, but you can definitely lose it. 3/10 is something to work with. Innerhofer, fantastic turner. Remember, he got that complete collection of medals last year from the World Championships, a gold, silver, and a bronze. So he knows multi-disciplines. We saw Eric lose a lot of time on the bottom portion of the course, and I think part of it has to do with the speed that you exit here. You have to nail the end of this road. You have to carry the speed out. 78, that's pretty good for Innerhofer.
Innerhofer DQ'd in Bormio at the last downhill. His top finish in the downhill this year, 12th at Beaver Creek, Colorado. So looking to get on track.
Well, and this is on track, Scott. Look at that, a 4/10 lead in the green, and this is the part of the course that Reichelt performs. Made such clean turns, and the guys know that the early racers were going to have an advantage today because the course has been breaking down. It's water injected way underneath a whole lot of natural snow that has fallen. It's been soft during the week, but getting tougher now. And all that green is gone now into red, and trailing Reichelt, who was good on the bottom part of this course.
Hanging on. It takes a ton to get through this course. Innerhofer, wow! 5/100ths. Back to the leader, Reichelt, who hangs on. But Innerhofer likes that.
2 seconds faster than in the last training run. These guys know any one of these runs could leave you on the podium. Such a great technician and good turn.
Standing tall, the Swiss hope, 24-year-old Beat Fitz, ready to roll.
And he has been something to watch this year, ranked second in the Super Gs. He's been first, second, and then first and third in the Super Gs, and has been second twice in the downhills. These later racers, they've got the helicopter going. We get to see the top of most of them. They run them in later or slower intervals, so we can see top to bottom coverage. The best in the world run between numbers 16 and 22. We have all of them. This is the race right now.
Won a downhill in Kvitfjell last season. Beat Fitz has not looked great in training here. 22nd and 29th, but knows what he's dealing with. And part of it is that crowd. Look at them.
300's out. Remember, still all face to Reichelt. Oh, what a great turn over the Hoonchop. Nice and control. Still trying to figure out the course, as you mentioned. Oh, that was a little wild. And look at the swing in time. Half a second and 20. And look at the crowd on the far side of the hill. They are literally lighting it up.
I love it though. He is now midway through. Got a long way to go.
Your legs are already significantly tired at 120 in. You already feel the burn. You're working the flats into that nestled tuck position, trying to be aerodynamic yet still try and create some speed, be powerful in the turns. You can see that it's a little bit rougher now, the track getting chewed up. And you're just willing a little bit of blood flow into the quadriceps at this point. You're trying to tell yourself, just will it through, push through, keep looking at the line. And it is tough to find speed when your legs are hurting that much.
The Swiss speed program just building all the time, led by the legendary Didier Couche, but now Carlo Janka is on board. Beat Fitz, who's on the course now, and don't forget Didier Defago. Look at these times.
Totally even time right now, coming down to the last 20 seconds of this track. 7/100ths of a second. This is not much of a spread for the top three. This is all the skill of the final S. And that looked pretty clean for the Swiss.
And now they bring him home. Beat Fitz has the lead, and by a ton.
Couple major swings in time. Right here was one of them. Take a note, 3/100ths of a second back. What I really liked in this section, the roller, he maintained that snow contact. And what left ski. That's not great, but the swing in time, half a second, he did it again on the bottom. That was an exceptional run.
Bayat Foots, the next one. It appears his time is right now. We came to see Mr. Freeze, Didier Couche, as our coverage of the Wengen Downhill continues on CBC. Here's Didier Couche, 37 years old, the World Cup downhill champion. A ticket to ride.
He was fast in the first training run, but lost and off the pace in yesterday's. But this is a good sign for him to be anywhere close on the top class is good for Didier Couche, because technically that's where his strength lies.
How bad does he want it?
Wow. But look at that loss of time to Boots there, and the crowd once again on fire. He just looked a little bit passive and a little bit relaxed in that section, whereas Bayat Boots picked up half a second to Reichelt. And this just is not quite the Didier Couche we're used to. Only 74 kilometers an hour exit into underneath the water station is the tunnel's name. And it is not going to be his year, no matter how much the fans want him to win this. It is the one title he doesn't own. 0.8 of a second, even with almost a minute left of the track, is so much to make up.
3 times the runner-up here at Wengen, 4 times the champion at Kitzbühel, which is, of course, next week on CBC, and you can bet Didier Couche will be attacking there. But strangely, as you mentioned, Karen, he's not in the mix.
It happens even to the best of them. You tried so hard, extremely hard, in all of the wrong ways, and you could see on top he was nice and relaxed, and then looked a little passive once he got to the turns. And you need to mentally switch. You have to change gears. Losing more time now, just not the normal run that we see from Didier Couche, and he will be so extremely disappointed, as will the fans.
But they love him still. 37-year-old Didier Couche comes home to the embrace of the fans here at Wengen. Well back, and that man, Bayat Foots, the 24-year-old, is still the leader. Not Didier's day. One of the future stars of the Austrian ski team, 25-year-old Romed Baumann.
He ran the combined race yesterday, which is a downhill run from a shortened start gate and a slalom combined together. He was 5th in that downhill, so he's got the track figured out. Oh, this overhead shot just shows how narrow it is, how awkward the landing off the Midge Cante is. You can see why so many Canadians have ended up down that little ridge, why it's named so. Kernan S, because he won on this track and was always so brilliant in this section.
Astounded by how quickly they enter camera range and then just as quickly disappear. They're picking up speed.
This year, not quite as extreme as in past seasons. The 2:37 in the training run, 2:35. We're encroaching on breaking that 2:35 time. Is the slowest time on this track since 1986. 85, it was 2:35, and then it has gotten as low as 2:20. All the natural slowing it down, and Baumann struggling in this middle section. It just shows how great Reichelt and Foots were in this section of the course. Everyone dropping time to them.
Baumann jumped off to a good start this season. He took a run at Lake Louise. He was 4th in the first downhill in the Rocky Mountains.
That speed trap is not a lie. 145 kilometers an hour, and you have to deal with turns and jumps. They make it look so easy. The legs doing all the work. They're burning, and they still are maintaining snow contact and dealing with this very tricky final 2 turns.
Crosses 122 behind the leader, Bayat Foots of Switzerland.
Looking like the same time as Eric Day, who now still sits 5th. by far the best run he's had down this track in his career.
This man won at Wengen last year. The veteran, Klaus Kroll of Austria, and he's having a consistently fine speed season.
It's out very close times on the top. The sun's still bright up there, visibility excellent, whereas down below the shade has come on the course. It makes it tougher. The racers know that. The pole position in some of the downhills, not necessarily an advantage starting between 16 and 22. That's where the best in the world run in every downhill all year long.
Soft-spoken man, intense racer. We talked to him at Lake Louise, and you know that he's all cranked up for Kitzbühel next weekend, but he covets this Wengen title. He's been third at the last two downhills at Beaver Creek and at Bormio.
Well, he stole that victory from Kush last year. They made a little joke that, look, if you leave this one for Kush, I'll let you have the Kitzbühel one next week, because Kroll wants to win Kitzbühel as badly as Kush wanted to win this one. And once again, dropping way back from Beat Futz's time, and Reichelt, who started bib number 1 today and led for so long until number 16, still sitting in second spot.
145 kilometers an hour, really rolling.
Just getting a little bit chewed up. These turns where they come in going 145 and have to exit 90 degrees out, not able to catch up now. Still well back with not enough real estate, only a couple turns to go.
The Austrian in unfriendly territory. The Swiss love to have the lead, and Beat Futz complies. Back for more in Wengen. Canadian sliding results in Europe. At Königssee, Germany, silver in bobsleigh for Kelly Humphreys and Emily Badsvik. Lyndon Rush, Jesse Lumsden on the men's side. Melissa Hollingsworth, skeleton bronze in Oberhof. Alex Guff, fourth in luge as Canadians continue to roll. Here is Didier Defago of Switzerland, the Olympic downhill champion.
And a champion on this track, and Kitzbühel back in 2009 got the double. Not many have done that. Coming off that win in Bormio. Oh, and coming off a slow top section, 0.6 of a second. That is a lot to try and make up. The Swiss team this year, so incredibly strong. We noticed that right away in Lake Louise when the first downhill was on. The depth, all the younger ones just have been pulled along by Didier Couch. That gap is closed. There's Carlo Janka, Beat Futz with that lead. Defago, the Olympic champion. There are just so many talented guys.
Defago did not finish the second training run here. Must be intimidating for the Swiss skiers. The crowd is huge. Expectations absolutely at a premium.
He did manage to run the combined downhill yesterday, help get over that. When you don't finish a run, you come into the next one with a fair amount of doubt, and when it's race day, it's that much more difficult to get over. And he is coming back from injury, which really states that downhill victory in Bormio that much huger. One of the toughest courses, run in December, pitch black, steep and icy every year. To come away from that with a win is huge, and quite a statement that his knee is ready to go.
Coming out of the shadows and into the light, Didier Defago of Switzerland deep into his run here at the Lauberhorn. Love that shot up over the lip.
Defago's not going to come anywhere close to the podium right now. It's sitting with the Swiss still in that lead position with Futz. Reichelt in from Austria second. Italy sitting in the bronze position with Innerhofer. But remember, Miller still to come.
Big roar from the crowd, but not a heck of a lot to cheer about for Didier Defago today. 2.67 off the lead. His teammate Beat Futz continues to control. Now the big man, Axel Lund Svindal, 6'5", out of Norway. He's been the overall World Cup champion. Can do it all in any discipline.
He was fast in the second training run, yet well back in yesterday's combined downhill. And there's a good midway time, but look at his line, well below everyone else's track in Canadian corner. He traveled further distance, didn't jam on the skis. I have to look at the speed trap, and technically he's proficient enough to get through here, but notice the in speed there at 98. We have seen well over 100. The exit not bad. That line really hurt him. And look at the swing in time, just a few tenths there he's lost. And it just carries forward. This is more moderate terrain here, mild turns, you're working in and out of your tuck. And if you're traveling 5 kilometers an hour slower, it just works away at the clock.
15 World Cup wins for Axel Lund Svindal. 6 of those have come in the Super G, but he has so much skill in every one of the disciplines.
He just ran really straight in those turns, and it shows in the speed trap. 142, we've seen over 145. It's just really tough to try and gain it back on the bottom, yet we did see Reichelt so fast to this point, and Beat Fuchs gained almost half a second in these last 20 seconds. It is doable, but Svindal looking on his tails a little bit.
Squeezing every bit of gas out of the tank, but Axel Lund Svindal is no better than 9th for now. 1:35 back of Beat Fuchs of Switzerland. Here's Bodie Miller, 34 years of age, to prove once again, never write him off. He's got a win at home at Beaver Creek this season, and he wears the red bib as the downhill leader.
Oh, and when he came into view there with his hands way up by his jaw, he looked hungry for speed, showing in the time. Huge flight. First time we've seen somebody in the green on the top since early in this race, and losing a bit to Fuchs, but he gained so much to Reichelt and the rest of the field. Now this is a track that Bodie Miller loves. He is so athletic. He should be good through this section because he is technically strong. He is so creative with his skis, never sacrificing line. 103 in, still can't pull out more than 76 kilometers an hour. And this would be why the Swiss crowd doesn't think they've got the win yet.
No, because he's done just about everything in his career. Bodie Miller, 33 World Cup victories and counting.
He was third in yesterday's combined. He's got the confidence, and this is the part of the course that's getting chewed up. It is dark, a little bit low line, ski bouncing around a little bit, but way better than Svindal was.
Miller, twice a winner here at Wengen. Can he make it the magic 3?
So tight, 200ths of a second right now. Just tenths of a second are spreading the first 3 at that interval, but this is the section that Beat Fuchs pulled ahead, and once again, Fuchs proving on the bottom part of this course that he owned it.
Bodie coming from a little bit back now. Oh, hits that gate, maintains his balance, and now crosses the line. Fuchs still in command. Beat continues to lead in spite of Bodie's best efforts. Back in a moment. Welcome back. A reminder, Hockey Night in Canada just around the corner. The Devils and Jets at the MTS Center in Winnipeg with the entire Hockey Night in Canada crew. But we've got a race at Wengen, the Lobberhorn, the men's downhill. Here's Peter Phil of Italy. Beat Fuchs of Switzerland has the lead. Canada's Eric Gay is right now running 7th.
Beat Fuchs left the leader box as if the race is over after Bodie Miller came down, but forgetting that Peter Phil won that first training run and in the hunt with this interval, and just as quickly, 15 seconds later, out of the hunt at 6 tenths out.
The Peter Phil, I was going to say, has shown flashes of brilliance at times in his career. He did win a downhill at Lake Louise, and now he seems to be one of the also-rans.
Well, Andy has shown brilliance on this track in Wengen. He's been on the podium back in '07 in the downhill. Twice he stood on the podium in Super Combined. It's a track he knows. Hasn't lost any more time. Now that is a good sign, because remember, Foot's well in front, leading by almost half a second. So if Phil can just pull up a little bit, he's got a shot at a podium. His teammate Innerhoff sitting in third right now. Late line Phil, known as a technician, he has to be perfect in the turns. Losing 3/10 just like that. We saw Svindal go too straight in. You can see how the turns have been roughed up a little bit. This isn't the day Phil has planned mentally.
There's a check that he's running more than a second behind now. Fitz of Switzerland.
Klaus Kroll sitting in sixth at 8,900 out. So the drop off now to the podium, significant.
Will not touch the Swiss leader, but it will bump Canada's Eric Gay back into a tie for eighth with Romet Baumann of Austria. Jan Hudak, the 30-year-old of Canada, the resilient one, 7 knee surgeries. Boy, he cracked one out at Lake Louise to start the season. We thought he was working on a bad back. He was fourth in the Super G there, and he has been fairly consistent, and he's got a quick early lead.
Oh, well, Jan Hudak has got such great touch on the snow. The conditions are perfect for him. It's not exceptionally icy. He's got to get through here. He's got to land quickly on his tails. His weight is back, and that's a bit of hesitation there by Jan. Not surprising. This is a guy, you mentioned the 7 surgeries, and those were not minor little touch-ups. He's been reconstructed so many times, the knees are just holding their own. And the real task for Jan is going to be the bottom 30 seconds. Now, he came out of there with good speed, 77 kilometers an hour. You look at his stats, and he just doesn't have a full season in all of his years of racing. He's got some podiums there, a win in Lake Louise in the downhill, a world championship medal. The injuries have really kept him from being at his best. Now losing more time. I just think the fitness is going to play a role down here. Sacrificed a lot in the line traveling at those speeds to make sure he could get through healthy.
Yes, earlier in his career, he did flirt with brilliance. 07, 08 were the really good years for Jan Hudak. As you mentioned, he did win at Lake Louise, and then that silver medal at the World Championships in for a sweep. Not today. 2.3 back of the Swiss leader is the Canadian Jan Hudak. Reichelt and Foots in the box down below. Here's Robbie Dixon on course, trying to make his way back into contention. And this is a rookie appearance at Wengen.
Robbie's had so many injuries that happened over that New Year's season in a GS. He had a concussion, he's banged up his head, he's nursing his way back. And for all the touch that Hudak has on the flat, that is the skill that Dixon has in the turn. He won the bottom portion of this course in training. It isn't happening today with these intervals I'm seeing. And, you know, he's new. He hasn't run the course. Even to have a win in one of the sections in training is something, and he will have to chalk this one up to experience. And I'm sure that that is going to be frustrating. He does not want to be that far back, and he's better than that time.
Frustration, the key word for Robbie Dixon of Canada. And he shows it in spades. And so it's Beat Foots, the new downhill leader. Hannes Reichelt of Austria is second. Then Christoph Innerhofer of Italy. Another bright day for Canada's Eric Gay. A tie for 8th. By far his best result at Wengen. Now, let's hear from the world champion, Eric Gay.
Yeah, I'm absolutely satisfied with my day today. You know, my previous best result here was 19th, and it's not a race that's usually very good for me. I love coming here, obviously. I love the event, and you know, when it's sunny like this, it's hard to beat. But I'm very happy with the way I skied. I think that if I can clean up some sections, I could be right in the mix.
Das ist das Schönste, was es gibt. Also vor dem Heimpublikum zu gewinnen, das ist unbeschreiblich. Ich konnte es kaum glauben im Ziel, dass da wirklich der Einser aufläuft.
Karen Van Good's home and cool at Wengen, barely ruffled a feather.
Well, I think this set up his whole run spot. This is the 10-second beat. Now we're into 5, and he's standing there so relaxed. And his whole approach was that fast on top with that relaxed approach, nice and aggressive in the turns. He owned the course. This is someone that knows exactly what he did right today and should be able to repeat that performance.
All right, next week, Kitzbühel. The legend lives on. Sports Weekend's got the famed Hahnenkamm from stem to stern. We just can't wait. Now, we're getting set up for Hockey Night in Canada. The Devils and the Jets in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Thanks for watching.